Why hello there, and welcome to Quaint Mysteries. My name is Kate, and today I'm going to be taking you on a journey of the more unique divination tools that are in my collection. I wanted to do a couple disclaimers before I started. The first one being that the opinions that are in this video are my own, and you should take them with a grain of salt and a dash of good faith. Also, if we do any divination in the video, please remember that divination is for entertainment purposes only, and that you should not be making any life-altering decisions based on the advice in the video, if we do any of that. And the third and final thing to get out of the way in the intro, is that all of these, or at least most of them, are very curated to me. And if you aren't doing them the same way, or if you use more mass market decks or whatever, that's totally okay. Like, I'm not here to bash anyone. I'm not here to make any weird statements about how I'm superior because I use tools that I've curated myself, or whatever. Like, no. I'm just here to show off what I have put together because I think it would be interesting. I don't know. I like seeing whenever people are creative with their practice. So that's the plan for today, and I think we'll go ahead and get started now. First up is my inaugural tarot deck, which, if you've been around the block in this community, you will recognize as the Dollar Tree tarot deck. I did not purchase this deck. It was actually a gift to me by someone who did my first tarot reading. So she read my oracle cards, actually, so it wasn't quite tarot, but it was oracle. And it was such an eye-opening experience for me that I was immediately hooked. And she was the librarian of the hospital that we were at, and it's a volunteer position by the patients who are there. And she told me that I should go and find this deck. And technically it was a different deck that she was meaning for me to find, but I ended up picking up this one, and she said I could take it anyways, and so I did. And this is what I've read with at the very beginning. I love this very Joan of Arc High Priestess, and the color scheme. Like, let's just talk about the color scheme of these cards. Like, the beautiful red, like the very vivid deep red with the striking contrasting black and the off-white kind of beige tan color. Oh, it's gorgeous. I would not suggest getting this for your first deck, honestly, because it is kind of a card game, but and you can't really use the pips, but gosh, I love this card. But I have found that it works in a pinch, right? And it's just been such an amazing little look back into my past, and you know, I don't know, it's just nice to have around still. I treat it very reverently. It usually stays in my sacred spaces and doesn't really get used all that much anymore as a tarot deck. But if I have some deep insight that feels like it can't come from anywhere else, this is what I turn to. And as silly as that is, because it is a Dollar Tree deck, it just fits. I don't know, it just works. But let's move on and see what else I've got. Next up, we have my little bag of Lenormand cards. I have several different decks of Lenormand cards, but because I didn't actually have my own dedicated Lenormand deck in the beginning, which Lenormand is a kind of divination. It's not tarot, it's more close to an oracle, but it has set meanings consistent across the decks. But we have a way to be able to do playing cards using the Lenormand. So what I did is I wrote the number on the and the name of the card on the corresponding playing card so that I could try to learn the playing card correspondences. I didn't. Spoiler alert, I didn't. But it was my first Lenormand deck. And I often pull this one out to use as my to use as the backdrop for my grand tableau spreads. So the way that the grand tableau works is you have them in order. These are not in order, clearly. Or they're kind of in order. Not quite. Something's a little funky with them. But you put them in order, and then you like lay them out in order, and then you can put your actual deck after you've, given it a nice shuffle. Oh my gosh, that was very amateurish. After you've given it a good shuffle, you can stick it on the tops of these, and you have your houses all figured out, so you don't have to think too hard about your houses. So that's really handy. I really like being able to still use this deck in a very practical application. It's been with me through all kinds of weird situations. And since it was one of the first decks I learned Lenormand with, it's just got a character and a vibe to me that I will never be rid of, right? And I hope I never lose it, because, I don't know, it's just cool. Next up in this box, we have my handmade by me runes that I made out of polymer clay, just white polymer clay. And then I took some black and red paint to make it look like I had consecrated them in blood. I did not consecrate them in blood. It's acrylic paint, but it looks so good. And the thumbprints on the back were kind of my way of consecrating them, to just create a deeper and closer connection with these runes. I don't read for other people with these, ever. I might have done it once. I take that back. I might have done it once, but whenever I didn't have any other rune sets. But these are so tied to me that they always pick up my energy. I don't let anybody touch these. Especially since the polymer clay seems to soak up energy, I always wash my hands and treat them with the utmost respect. I want to get a better lining. This is just some cheap quilting cotton that I got a long time ago. But this box was one that was given to me by my mom, and she thought that I could use it to put tarot decks in, and I was like, oh no, I have the perfect use for this. So I love this. I love the depth that these runes give me. They are just so heavy hitting, so hard hitting, but so comforting all at the same time, because they were made by me with the intention to be something I use forever, right? I love these. And each one is different in its own unique way. I just love these runes. I think they're amazing. Up next is my little bag of charms. I already got it all out to make it a little easier to explain, so I'm not fumbling with the bag. This is my little cheat sheet of what the charms mean. I have most of the meanings kind of memorized in my head, but yeah, I love this little set. I've been curating this charm set for years now, and it is so exquisitely deep. So like, for example, even the negative meaning ones, like this mushroom, this little crystal mushroom, which I don't even remember where I got it or what the crystal type is. I just have the definition that it means decay. But as mushrooms are one of the biggest life forms, it's the circle of life as well, right? So if it was actually next to this ring which I used to pretend as a child to be to be Frodo Baggins as I was going along on my grand adventure to destroy the ring, if they were together, this would be something along the lines of the decay of a commitment, right? Because I take a lot of meaning from the Lenormand meaning for the ring. But also, I do have those really deep emotional attachments to this ring specifically. And so that eroding, right, is going to be something that I feel deep in my soul. Okay, so we also have like a coin from Denmark, I think, that my mom got me a long time ago. She just brought it home from one of her business trips, and that one represents money. So if I have this money next to this heart, which this heart is like romantic love, that means that, and this heart is like friendship love. This heart next to the money could mean money troubles, but because it's next to the button, which means practicality and, you know, not wasting your money on luxury, it could be that I'm saving up money or something. This is like friendship, like social kind of friendship. Like being a social butterfly, right? I had this charm on a necklace whenever I was young. And then I'm sure some of you have seen the little forest spirit from Princess Mononoke. This represents me. And depending on how it's facing, depending on what it's facing, depending on if it's upside down like this, where it's facing the dirt, it all means stuff. So this is such a cool thing. It's so deep and profound and amazing. If I need some advice on just how life is going to go in the next 6 months or so, this is what I turn to. Because I don't have to ask a specific question. I get all of it. I get a whole big look at it. This is childhood. This is a full stop. This little amethyst rectangle cubey thing. It's not a cube because it's not square, but you know what I mean. It's a full stop. So if I have this sun right here, which is a very traditional meaning of the sun, if I have a sun right here and a stop here, that means that, you know, there's some kind of full stop going to happen of my positivity, of my happiness, or that kind of thing. But then if I have the cauldron, which is like a catalyst, right? My happiness will be the catalyst for a full stop of something, right? And then I look at all of the things around each of them, all of the little pieces that are around, and I just love it so much. I could talk about this for so long, but it's already been over 4 minutes, so I'm going to stop. If you would like a video specifically about my charm collection and how I curated it, please let me know, because I would be so happy to just chit-chat about that for a long time. Finally, for the last portion of the show and tell part of this video, I'm going to be talking about my bibliomancy books. We're going to go book by book, just because I feel like each book needs its explanations separately. First off, in this section of the video, we have my dad's old college literature textbook. My dad has since passed away, and while we didn't have a stellar relationship, it was on the mend. It was on the mend when he died. And thinking about what it could have been is not helpful, but thinking about what it was and thinking about how to honor him and respect my memories is something that I take very seriously, and doing some of my grief work with this book has been really helpful. So I really appreciate being able to use this book, being able to use a piece of my dad's history as a way to further contemplate my own existence. I think that's a beautiful way of honoring his memory, but acknowledging my memories, right? I'm not going to open it because it has some of his notes in there, and I don't want to just show those off. So I love having this. I used to read it as a kid. I have a bachelor's degree in English, largely because my dad fostered that sense of curiosity through my reading. He gave me one of the other books that I'm not showing right now is an Edgar Allan Poe, a beautiful Edgar Allan Poe book with gold gilding and leather binding, and oh gosh, it's lovely. But I use that one sometimes if I'm in need of a reality check on kind of the darker end of things, but I don't use it too often. for divination purposes, I like to read it more than I like to have to deal with the significance of a negative reading from that book. But this one, in regards to how important it is to me, it is very, right? I'm very happy to have it. Following along in the same vein and same line of thinking is my own college, one of my own college textbooks, the Norton Shakespeare. It has the essential plays, so not all of them, but a lot of the ones that are attributed to Shakespeare. And then it has the sonnets that are attributed to Shakespeare. I love this book just as a book, but whenever it comes to doing divination with it, I get such deep, intricate answers. Because if you think about it, whenever you open it up to any random old page, depending on how the pull pulls you in, and you scan the page with your left hand and wait to feel the pull for a certain line, and then you read the line, and then you read the stanza, and then you read the stanzas before and after it, and then you end up reading the whole play, and it's just such a wonderful experience. So if I spend the time to do bibliomancy out of this Norton Shakespeare, you will get such an in-depth and sometimes spicy, but very, very deep answer. Like the depth of your answer will be almost riddle-like, but in a good way, right? So you can untangle all of the neat little threads that have been left, kind of blowing in the wind around, right? It's such a beautiful way to do bibliomancy. I love doing bibliomancy with my Shakespeare, especially for other people. I guess I don't remember if I said that, but I do this mostly for other people if I'm going to be using it. The next book is the one that I use for myself, for more general purposes, not just like grief with my dad's book, but we'll show that in just a second. Finally, last but not least, as the saying goes, we have Parabola by Lily Huang. You probably won't ever see this book on bookshelves. You've probably never even heard of this book or this author, but wow, what an awesome piece of experimental fiction. So the table of contents is shaped like a parabola. You can decide to read it in the traditional U shape from 10 to 0 to 10, or you can read it from 10 to 10 to 9 to 9 to 8 to 8, all the way down to the origin point 0. There's just so many ways you can read it. You can read it up from the 0 points on each side. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's so brilliant. I love this book. And it's got so many experimental parts to it. There's like personality tests. There's like really interesting anecdotes. There's calculus. Like, oh my gosh, it's so wonderful. I love this book. But the reason that I use it in my own pursuits of divination is because I learn something new every time I open this book. It may not be about myself, it may not be about other people, but it is about like the universe that I learn things. And I need my divination to be more than just what's going to happen tomorrow. I need my divination to be able to tell me who I am, what this world is about. And this book is so good for that. You have to special order it, I think, still, probably. I don't even know if you can anymore. I don't even remember the publisher. I could probably look in the book right now, but I don't want to open it up because it has tons of notes in it still from my college course. But we ordered it for the college course, and we even talked to Lily, the author, and that was such an amazing experience. And having that connection to this book is what helps make it so gut punching and intense, right? Like I was saying with the Shakespeare. Except this has so many like word searches and things. Like it's so experimental in such a fundamental way. I love it. So it's curious then, whenever I have to figure out what a line from a personality test means in a divinatory sense. It's just great. I love the test that this piece of work puts me through, that this book puts me through. Well, that wraps up the video. I want to say thank you if you have watched this far, and I am so happy that you came along this journey with me to just see what I find interesting and listen to me ramble for however long this video is going to be. I appreciate that you came along with me, and I hope to see you in some of the later ones. So, see you later.